all look alike.
Hello my friends and welcome back to Player Display. Today we're doing a little bit of a throwback review. We are having a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Red Line Clone Commander BLY. So this is an older figure, believe it or not. I looked on the box. This is from 2019 and that makes this, how old is this figure? 1, 2. It's been a while since I've done math. This is a 4-year-old figure already. Holy crap, we're moving in time fast. Can anyone else handle that? Basically, the reason why I got this figure is, first of all, there's a lot of Clone Commander figures that are kind of floating around Amazon, pretty much for stock price. Like, you can find BLY and Cody and Wolf right now on Amazon for about 20 bucks. They're a really good catch. So why is it that I'm reviewing this figure now, which I probably should have had when it was initially released? Well, for a variety of factors. I've been revisiting some of my favorite Star Wars video games, being Republic Commando, for one, which has pretty much recently given me a whole new reappreciation for the clones. And also I've been replaying Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I played as Aayla Secura, who is the Jedi General that leads BLY into battle. And obviously this is the guy who is single-handedly responsible for killing one of the hottest Jedi we've ever seen. So naturally, I played Republic Commando, then I played Battlefront 2, the original one, and then that led me somehow down the road to BLY. I also have Black Series Aayla Secura in my Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot, so she will be coming around soon, and then we'll be able to compare those two side by side. And as I said, this is an older release, which means that yes, this is the older clone body, but I wanted to have a look at it since I never really gotten a whole ton of clones with this body mold before. So as you can see, I still got a mint in the box, and this will be our very first unboxing. So let's have a little bit of a look back at a few generations of packages ago. And as you can see, this is from the Red Line that started with The Force Awakens. You got your really nice black and white portrait down there, which I always think are very gorgeous to look at. On the side, 104. Do those numbers even mean anything anymore? On this side, you got a continued window, and then you've got a read-up which says Clone Company? Is that what the Kaminoans call this program? On the back, you got that portrait once again, along with your same 104, and then you also have some multilingual bios, which hopefully will focus on this camera. And then down here, you got your usual warning labels that no one really cares about, and then of course, you can't have a box without your usual -3.
Start audience.
And going down to the bottom, I tried removing this price tag so we could have a look at what's going on, and we found more of Sad Onion's friends. Apparently, we have here to meet
Green Arrow,
Aslan,
C,
101,
EAC,
and then of course,
I am Superman.
and that's it for the packaging. Now over here, I've got my handy dandy X-Acto knife right there, and we're gonna crack this guy open. One thing I'm wondering is how many more of these boxes will I be opening, because even though the Red Line is now an old line, it's not to say that it had bad figures. In fact, it had some of the best and some very monumental milestones within Black Series. We got a first appearance of our sequel trilogy characters in plastic form, which was pretty monumental. I remember getting my very first Kylo Ren, which has since become custom fodder for other characters, but yeah, as easy as ever to open the packaging. And then here we've got BLY in our plastic bubble, which again, you'll one day not have. Big ol' honkin' rifle there. And then it looks like he's got some of his DC pistols stored away in his holsters. Come on, get out of your carbonite! You can be free! Alright, let's get all this out of the way. And then here we have our very Order 66 compliant Commander BLY, and ooh, I like this guy a lot. Yes, he's an older figure, and he lacks the mechanical upgrades that the new clones have, but that's not to say that this isn't a good figure. In fact, he's pretty fantastic. I guess the only complaint that I have with him visually is this visor up here, where it kind of lacks that black stripe that would kind of indicate that it's a lens. It's kind of just molded in white, and then it's got its little brownish accents going around it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only other instance where we've seen that visor was on the Bad Batch release of Captain Rex, and as you can see there, he's kind of got that black slit. I'm actually bringing them side by side. They might be the same molded visor. I think they are. So I might go ahead after this review and paint that little slit right on there. Turning to the general figure, I really love this color scheme. It's very nice. You got some mustard yellow. You've got some dark dirt brown. And I don't know what they did with the pauldron, but this is something that they should do a lot more often. There's like a light brown dry brush going on, and that's really pretty. It really makes me love this figure even more. On the arms, not a whole lot else to see. You've got that usual expected Clone Commander motif where he's got that stripe. I love that continuity. It's just a really nice motif throughout. On the legs, you get a really good blend of that mustard yellow we've been talking about, along with that mud brown down the knees, and you got also some mustard on the feet as well. All we need is Fox, and we can have like a mustard and ketchup motif going on. I heard one person call Phasma sugar because of the chrome, so I don't know. I guess we're just going to associate every trooper with a condiment from now on. Let's go ahead and start with the helmet, not the head, because there is no head underneath this helmet whatsoever, and it looks really pretty. I like it a lot. Like, of course, you can always ask for all the weathering in the world, but for what they accomplished, it reads BLY. It looks very good. And of course, for those of you who don't know who BLY is, he only ever appeared in Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars Episode 3, where of course he infamously gunned down Aayla Secura, seemingly in cold blood. And then, of course, you get the retcon in Bad Batch and Clone Wars, where you learn that there was a chip inside their heads all along. Let me know in the comments, what type of clones do you prefer? Chipped or unchipped and very compliant with their orders like they were in Legends before the Disney acquisition? Let me know, I'm curious. You have really nice glossy details along the lenses, which I feel like is sometimes missed out on some troopers that we've been seeing. Like, I think I remember on the First Order Stormtroopers, they were just flat, which really sucked. I'm also very surprised to see the silver applied so well. Usually figures from the Redline era, you have little paint details like that that are a little bit off-center. Yeah, it's just very well done. They took their care with this guy. On the side, you got those trademark blue vents that you see on the clone helmets, as well as those of the Stormtroopers, and I think both trilogies in which they appeared. And then on the back, you got your usual T shape that you see on the back of most clone troopers, along with that continued yellow and brown motif, with this kind of baby blue gray stripe going on right there. The pauldron is very well executed. I think this is a unique mold. I don't believe we've seen this on any other clone, and I say that because we also have this additional strap going down here around the arm, and I guess it glues. Oh, it doesn't glue anywhere. What's going on here? Oh, I see. So you got that little tab, and I think that's supposed to slide behind this. Whoa, okay, bye. It goes behind this little pouch on the belt. Yeah, and then it kind of slots into it, but it doesn't really stay in there. I'll think about either gluing it or just leaving it floating, but regardless, I really love the execution of the pauldron. Nothing going on in the back. It's pretty much flat out white, not a whole ton of extra weathering going on. It's really just wherever the color is applied. Going on to the torso, you get another nice, very good stripe over there to match with the arms. On the belt, you got more of that color continuation. Down here, you got these little straps which kind of come with the holsters. And of course, one thing that you can't not notice is the kama, which is a technical term, and it's very well executed. I like this material a lot. It's not too stiff, and it's not too flaky or anything. It drapes over the figure very naturally, and I like it a lot. It just feels really nice in the hands, so nice to add to this tactile experience that would otherwise just be another piece of plastic. Down to the legs, they're cloned legs, not a whole lot else to talk about, always the same shape. The paintwork gets a little bit muddy when the shin guards kind of meet the body glove, but not a big deal. Let's go ahead and talk about accessories with this guy, which are pretty standard for a clone, but they look pretty much exactly as you want them to be. So first we have two of his DC-17 pistols, if that's what they're called, or DC something. I'm not an arms expert within Star Wars land. And then you got the trigger finger going right into the guard, and it looks very natural, so always good to see that. As for the other one, as I kind of was expecting, you have naturally this articulated in and out hand. It holds a pistol fine, but yeah, you're probably going to want to take a knife to that index finger to loosen it up, and then it should fit in there. In fact, let's go ahead and do that very quickly. Now here's my knife again as you prepare for kind of a flash course tutorial on how to give your action figures a trigger finger, but this is pretty much customizing 101. Let's very quickly take our knife, put it right in the index finger, kind of just push it for a little bit, push it around to the back of the hand where it meets the guard, and I think that should do it. Yeah, you just gotta flex it a little bit out first, and then I guess you kind of just go for it as quick as you can. Ah, there we are. Okay, so now I've got that index finger in the trigger guard, kind of. It doesn't look too beautiful, but at least the blaster is more down within the hand, so now he's got some nice dual-wielding Fordo action, so gotta love that. Then we can go ahead and T-pose this guy as we store the blasters back into his holsters with basically no effort. Alright, now we'll look at his second accessory, which is the Ayla Secura Killer, and it's his much more impressive and big honking rifle. So let's go ahead and get this in his hands. I have no doubts that this will hold just fine. Of course, it's a much bigger grip, so you gotta give it a little bit of a force, and it goes in, no problem. A little bit of force. See what I did there? I'm not funny at all. I notice how the visor kind of goes past the eyes, and I like to put the back of the rifle under his arm. And there we are. And another thing I remembered about this clone body, which leaves a little bit to be desired, is I don't think there is a bicep swivel. Oh no, it's there. Okay, never mind. So let's see if we can get it into a shoulder perch position. Yeah, you can kind of do it. It's more resting above the shoulder. He looks like he could definitely put down any Jedi any day, so good on him. Now let's have a look at articulation, which is a little bit limited by today's standards, but it does the job for BLY here, especially during the time in which he was released. Of course, you're not going to get that dumbbell joint that we're seeing on a lot of the new figures. This is just a basic ball and hinge, so you can go that much down. He can't really go back a whole ton, no tilt at all, but he can swivel just fine, although it is a little bit tender in there, so it takes a little bit of force. Down to the torso, we get a ball that goes up into the upper torso, and that swivels around, gets a little bit of tilt, and then it gets this much forward, and basically maybe a hair back. I can't really tell. On the arms, is that a butterfly? No, there's no butterfly. That freaked me out for a little bit because they didn't have butterfly joints back then, but you got a basic joint in there. Goes that much out to about 90, goes back in, swivels all the way around. Maybe it kind of gets stuck by the pauldron, so it would otherwise. You get a bicep swivel. We got those old double-jointed elbows, which do a pretty good job. They don't look as beautiful as the new ones we have now that are single-jointed, but they work. On the right hand, we get up and down. On the left one, we got in and not so much out because you got the hand armor kind of blocking it against the lower arm armor there. As for the legs, they kick that much forward. Again, you kind of got a V, so it drifts off a little bit, but not too much. Got that much back. You got this much out, that much back in. You get a good thigh swivel. You got your double jointed knees, which are pinned because this is an older body, as I've said a number of times by now. It goes back pretty much as far as you want. You could probably get him in some nice crouching poses if you'd like. Down the ankles, I remember with these bodies, the ankles don't go back at all. They just totally get stuck on that armor. What I've done with these bodies in the past is I just clip off that corner and then it goes all the way back. So if you're a customizer and you're willing to do that, go for it. I mean, it's pretty much invisible. It's in the back. But he gets an okay amount forward, and then he's also got some pretty great rocker. So that's pretty much it for articulation. Now to compare him with some of his brothers in arms, we have the Black Series release of Captain Rex, which was a Target exclusive, if I'm remembering right. Then we have Captain Fordo from the 2003 Clone Wars animated series. And then over here, we have Boss from the Republic Commando game. And they're all basically the same height, which is perfectly fitting. They're all clones of the same dude. And for some more Black Series, we have the Kenobi Shotika, along with the Death Watch Mandalorian from, well, The Mandalorian. And to compare BLY with some of his friends from across the Hasbroverse, we have Marvel Legends Miles Morales from, well, Into the Spider-Verse. And then I have my head swap Spider-Man with a base Renew Your Vows body. And even though I can't see why you'd want any of these characters together, I got a few other characters from different lines. We have NECA's Jungle Hunter Predator, along with McFarlane's Death in the Family Joker, and Mego's silver screen version of Nosferatu. And he's the only Mego figure I have, so expect to see the Count more often in these reviews. And lastly, to put him beside some little people, we have Omega from Bad Batch, Tika from the Kenobi Show, then we got the Child from Mandalorian, and then we have Muk Muk because he's always rockin' and rollin' and whatnot. And that's all I have to say about this Commander BLY figure. Yeah, he's old in Hasbro standards, but he still holds up today. And of course, he's not the most important clone that there is in the entire Republic, but he is the very first character that showed us what exactly Order 66 is when you think about it. He's just a gorgeous display piece, definitely a lot of customization opportunities in here. All that being said, I don't feel the need to go that far. I think he looks really good as is. The one thing that I definitely want to do is put a little black stripe across the visor, and that's pretty much it. He's a great figure. As per usual, if you enjoyed this content that I'm putting out on this little rinky-dink channel of mine, then please be sure to
Like
comment
and subscribe.
Or like a whole bunch of monsters are gonna invade your home, Scoop! Zoinks! Blah! I hope you guys are having yourself a fantastic week. Happy hump day, and I will see you all later. I do have Django Fett from SH Figuarts coming in the mail, but then apparently USPS mail said that we couldn't find your location. Like, what? Do I live on a mountain? What's your trouble? I live in a metropolitan area. I don't know what the issue could possibly be. So we're going to have to stand by and wait for that, unfortunately. I'm just going to go ahead and stop saying mustard, yellow, and brown for the rest of this review, because even I'm getting annoyed at reciting the color palette, the Bob Ross accent work that went into this happy little tree that we have. I just think the weathering on the brown, it said brown again, but I really love the execution of the brown on there. I just think, okay, I like the colors of this pauldron. It is very pretty. It satisfies me as a collector. Toilet time for the neighbors again. We have the Bad Batch release of Captain Rex, along with Captain Fordo. How many shits do they have to make today? Neighbors taking inconvenient showers at inconvenient hours. Da-da-da-doom.